السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. And sisters, we continue from the series on the Ahaadeeth of the Fadhaa'il of Masjid Al Aqsa and its surrounding. And in the beginning portion of the series, we talked about many direct Fadhaa'il that are related to Masjid Al Aqsa. But now the compilation of the book itself leads us towards a point where Masjid Al Aqsa is mentioned, but it is mentioned with regards to the signs of the day of Qiyamah. And of course, the signs of the day of Qiyamah itself is an entire science itself, where it takes a lot to really understand the depth of the signs that the Prophet ﷺ have mentioned, both with regards to some of the minor signs and some of the major signs. And these are from the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, his prophecies, and things to remember till the day of Qiyamah as a sign and a symbol for us. So inshallah, for the next few days, some of the fadail or virtues that we will mention of Al-Aqsa or the surrounding area of Sham is more related towards the signs of the day of Qiyamah and its virtues. And of course, a lot of lessons to learn from the situations that we're seeing at this moment. So the hadith for tonight, it's a longer hadith. An-Nawas bin Samman radiyallahu anhu قال ذكرنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الدجال فقال. An-Nawas ibn Samman al-Kalbi radiyallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and this is the hadith from Abu Dawood, and the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if Dajjal comes forth while I am amongst you, then I shall dispute with him on your behalf. Meaning, if Dajjal was to show up at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I would be enough for you to dispute with him for you. Meaning the presence of the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be as a source of safety, khair and barakah for the ummah at large. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and if he comes after I am not with you, a man must dispute on his own behalf. Meaning, there is not going to be anyone except for your own self that has to be strong enough in their iman, in their faith, in their tawakkul, and in their trust with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they can protect themselves from the fitna of Dajjal. So this is what Rasulullah is reminding the Sahaba, that if I am amongst you and Dajjal comes, I will dispute. But if I'm not, then every single one of you who's present at that time must dispute on their own behalf, meaning they must stand for their own selves. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect every Muslim, meaning every person who has iman in their heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect them. Then the Prophet ﷺ further mentioned with regards to the signs of the day of Qiyamah, he said, those of you who live up to his time should recite over him the opening verses of Surah Al-Kahf. Rasulullah ﷺ said, for those who live up to his time, meaning for those who will find the time of Dajjal or the time before Dajjal, should recite upon him the opening verses of Surah Kahf. In some of the riwayat and some of the traditions, it mentions the beginning 10 ayats of Surah Kahf. And in some tradition, it mentions the last 10. So we should try our best to memorize the beginning 10 ayats of Surah Kahf. They are not difficult, they are not hard. Inshallah, if you make this as an adat and a habit to recite every Friday, inshallah, you can memorize it very easily. So Rasulullah said, for those who will find a time that you find Dajjal, then recite upon him, over him, the opening of Surah Kahf. For they are your protection from his trial, meaning from the fitna. This is your protection. Sahaba asked, and this is Nawas bin Samman radiallahu anhu said, we asked Rasulullah sallallahu how long will he remain on earth? How long will Dajjal be present? The Nabi of Allah sallallahu said 40 days. One like a year. His first day will be like a year. I said this last time. And then one like a month, one like a week, and the rest of his days like yours. Rasulullah said First day will be like a year, then like a month, like a week, and then from the fourth day onward will be like your days. We asked, the Sahaba said, we asked, will one day's salah and prayers suffice us in the day, which will be like the year? Ya Rasulullah, will 5 salah will be okay for us that day? You know, subhanAllah, they're not even worried about Dajjal at that time. They're like, salah, Ya Rasulullah. It will be enough for us, that 5 salah for that day? So Rasulullah said, no. You must make an estimate of its extent. Meaning, you must make the estimation of how long the day feels and pray according to it. Now, the ulama have taken multiple fiqh rulings from this particular hadith. So, for example, there are certain I know this is off topic, but there are certain places in the world that have daylight all year long, and there are certain places which have night all year long. So does it mean that you don't fast? Does it mean that you don't pray, or you only make Isha and you don't make other salah? How do you pray according to that time? And of course, the fuqaha have mentioned you make estimation of how the day and the time is, or you take the estimation of the closest country that has a full cycle of a day and a night, which is the closest to that very vicinity. So you fast and you pray according to that. So the estimation of that. Of course, this is not the discussion in that. But then the Prophet ﷺ said, you make estimation. Then Rasulullah ﷺ gave the final advice in this hadith, and I'll conclude with this. Then the Nabi of Allah ﷺ said, then Isa alayhi salam, the son of Maryam, will descend at the white minaret on the eastern part of the Masjid of Damascus. The Jamia Masjid, or the largest Masjid of Damascus, the eastern minaret, which is white in color. This is the specifics that the Nabi of Allah ﷺ, As-Sadiq wal-Masduq, gave us. That Isa alayhi salam will descend at the eastern minaret, which will be in white in color, and he will descend on that minaret, meaning he will come at that moment. Some have mentioned at that very time, and of course this is a whole science and a long topic, that Mahdi will already be present. He will be leading salat while Isa alayhi salam will come. But then Rasulullah in this particular hadith mentioned that Isa alayhi salam, the son of Maryam, will descend at the white minaret on the eastern portion of Damascus. And then the Nabi of Allah further mentioned, he, Isa alayhi salam, will catch a Dajjal at the gate of Lud and will kill him. And Lud at this very particular time is at the exact location of where the aspect of Israel and the portion of Gaza, and right in the middle portion of it comes where the international airport actually is. Right there is Lud. If you search it up, it's right at that very particular location of Lud. And this is the prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. With regards to the entire details of the signs of the day of Qiyamah, there's a lot of details and a lot of back and forth of understanding this, but there are a few important things to remember. Number one, the sanctity, the sacredness of the place of Sham. Al-Quds, Jerusalem, and all the surrounding area has a great significance for Muslims, their iman and their faith, not now, but till the day of Qiyamah. That's one thing to understand. That there's a sense of relationship of the people of Iman with the area of Sham, for indeed that's the returning of Iman and faith for us. Another thing from us to take back from this hadith is that it is time for us to individually prepare our Iman and our faith, that we can face such challenges. May Allah always protect us from fitna and trials, and like the fitnas of Dajjal. Brothers and sisters, we're not even able to be tested with small fitnas and trials. Imagine those large fitnas of Dajjal. How can we stand with our iman and our faith? So it's very, very important that all of us individually work upon strengthening our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with enough iman and taqwa and piety, that the do's and the don'ts, the commands of Allah become a part of our lives. To stop from the haram becomes very easy. And one thing that I will mention that some of the ulama have mentioned, they say, what is taqwa? They say taqwa is to learn how to say no. Taqwa is to learn how to say no. Right? When haram comes, you learn how to say no. This is taqwa. This is the true fear of Allah. That when anything comes that is against the command of Allah, you learn to say no. This is the biggest taqwa. This is the greatest of the consciousness that we can develop. May Allah give us tawfiq and ability to prepare for akhirah and give us the strength and ability to inshallah have this iman inshallah.